So this is my Westinghouse TV. It's been having an issue with it cutting off by itself. Like sometimes you can turn it on and it'll go for about 10 minutes and it'll cut off. You can turn it right back on and then it'll cut off after 7 minutes and so on and so forth. So this is a common problem that they've had. I've looked online. They talk about it, but I haven't seen a video for it. So this is for you guys. Anyway, there's a lot of components. You're going to take the back panel off, of course. The foot stand of it, of course. Back panel's over there. Go ahead and take off your pieces like this, which normally goes right here. So there's basically a bunch of screws that need to come off. So you're going to take all these screws off. I basically set on the side. This cover, as it turned out, I didn't need to remove this one because I was able to access what I needed, but I took it off anyway. So there's a few screws here that basically kind of mount this in place. So I'm pretty sure you guys already know how to do it, otherwise you probably wouldn't even tackle up to this point anyway, so I won't go into any extreme detail. So getting to the root of the problem. So once I've also taken these screws off and taken these pieces off, there's 4 screws that hold the board on. One's under here, one of course over in this corner, and the one over here. I've already taken those 4 off. That's these 4 right here. Little tiny screws, easy enough. Go ahead and disconnect your connectors. You'll have the one plug that plugs into here. Easy enough. When you take that screw off, it has that ground wire. Remember to put that ground wire back on there, okay guys? Over here you've got this plug, which there's basically the plug that plugs into there, so I just get my little screwdriver and back it off one side until it comes off. I use a nice little tiny screwdriver for that, no big deal. There's another plug inside of there. You're not able to get to it too easy, but no big deal. You've got a lot of excess wire here. So once you've taken all of this off, what you do is you go ahead and lift your board out enough so that you can get to it. Now, of course, if you know, for you guys, I've already unplugged it, but basically you can even see how I can plug it back in. So it's just like the one on this side, but it's over here. So you back it out and it'll unplug. Now, here is the typical problem, and it actually turns out to be also my problem. It's a capacitor that's no longer connecting properly at its solder joint. So it's right here when you're looking at the board from the front. So I'll go close to it. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around for you. So it says J on it, or an upside down J, or a sideways J if you're looking at it from its actual position. So anyway, it's that capacitor right there that seems to have the joint issue. Now when you flip this over, of course that's the middle of the board. I'm going to put some images up with this as well, but for right now let's just zoom into it, see if you can see it. So you'll see identifiable these 2 little lines, then you got 1, 2, 3 leads that are coming from the bottom of that capacitor. Any one of those 3 a bad solder joint. First recommendation, look at it closely and find your broken solder point so you can verify that what you're doing isn't wasting your time. You can see it right away, can't you? Look at that. See that crack right there? See right there? Oh, that's an excellent clear view. That's a bad solder joint. So all you do is heat that up, put a little extra solder on it. Looking at this middle one, looks fine. Looking at that one on the end, to me actually looks kind of fine, but you know what? Just for safety, I'm going to go ahead and heat all those up. So that should solve the problem, guys. That will be your solution for that Westinghouse TV and cutting off by itself. Once you fix that solder joint, go ahead, put everything back in place. Put all your screws back in. Once again, please remember, make sure that ground goes in with that screw in that corner. Put all your pins and plugs back in, so on. Put all your pieces back together. And you could plug it in and test it out, see if it works, but I'm fairly confident that that's what the deal is. Alright? Thanks a lot. Hope this helps somebody.